Welcome to the first episode of The Blueprint. I'm your host, Calvin Custance. On The Blueprint, we interview talented athletes and they share knowledge that they have collected over their time playing their sport. From balancing life and relationships to recruiting and training, there is always something you can learn. On today's episode, we welcome Anthony Merlot to the show. Anthony is making the journey to Northern Michigan University from Fraser High School in Clinton Township, Michigan. He is a strong offensive lineman and is a multi-sport athlete. He is a well-decorated player, earning 1 All-State, 4 All-Academic, 3 All-MAC, 3 All-County, and 3 All-Region awards. On top of that, he was also selected to compete against other top talent in the All-Star game. He was also a varsity captain for 2 years. I welcome Anthony Merlot. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first off, we're going to kick this off. I'm going to ask you a few questions just to get to know you for the audience, just to get to know you. So just some basic questions. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food has to be chicken wings, 100%.
Awesome. Favorite song?
That's a tough question. Right now, with how the gym's going and everything, I really like Peppa's. It's a pretty good EDM song. Gets me going.
Yeah, EDM is pretty good. I'll give you a couple more, just random. Favorite video game?
Ooh, right now it's probably MLB. A little bit of Madden too. I love my sport game.
I know. I'm the same way. Favorite class at school?
It's got to be history.
History?
Yeah.
What's your favorite topic to study for history? Do you have a certain
like history a lot, modern world history too. I just like learning about the past. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun to me. So
yeah, I get you. And what are some of your favorite hobbies outside of sports?
I like a lot of I like video games. I like, kind of myself a lot. I like bowling. I like to bowl, and as well as just hang out with my friends. I found it really crucial the last couple of years to, kind of just have that small group of friends just to get close with and, kind of just build, relationship with them rather than like a big group and everything. So
yeah, I get you. Okay, so we're gonna kick off just the sports section of it. So just so everyone knows, I of course know, but what sport or sports do you play?
I play baseball, basketball, and football. I recently stopped playing baseball as well as basketball to obviously pursue football 100%. Put all my eggs in the basket, and it's definitely paid off.
Yeah, definitely has paid off. How long have you played football for?
I played football ever since the age of 5, starting all the way in, flag football. I used to be a running back in the day, and then I found out what food was. And then I grew a couple inches. So
yeah, only a couple inches though, not
just a couple.
You're definitely not 6.5 feet tall, but why did you start playing the sport? Did your parents just get you into it, or were you always?
My parents knew growing up I was a pretty athletic kid. Like I said, I used to be quick back then. I just loved moving. I loved being on the go, and it was one of the sports that just stuck with me for like till now. I'm very thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned you played running back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. And then I put on some pounds, and I had a big growth spurt. Now being around 6'4" to 6'5", and it paid off. So
yeah. What position do you play currently? Of course, I know, but just to let people know.
I currently play offensive line, offensive tackle to be specific. I play left side. In college, I'm more than likely going to be a left tackle, but left guard hybrid. So I'm excited for it.
Awesome. So, have you of course, when did you switch to left tackle? When did you start playing offensive line or left tackle specifically?
It was probably when I was around 11 or 12. I think around 11 or 12, that's when I started to be a lot bigger than all the other kids around me. So I kind of lost the speed and just got the width and the height, and that's when they just put me on there, and it stuck.
Yeah. um, when did you start taking sports seriously, like going like in serious and the like meaning of going to the next level?
Ooh, I so growing up, I used to always think I was going to be a baseball kid. My dad always, out of all the sports, I guess you can say baseball was the one where it was taken more seriously than the rest. I played basketball just to stay in shape, and football I just, like I said, I just enjoyed it. But you know, it wasn't probably until my junior year that's when I started to real. I lied. No, 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 not junior year. My sophomore year. My sophomore year. It was that freshman to sophomore year where I kind of realized that I was actually really good at football, and my height paid dividend. I
Yeah.
started to realize I could push people around. I started to realize I can just manhandle the person in front of me, and that's when my sophomore year I was invited to Miami, Ohio's junior day, and then I went to it, and my recruiting just blew up. So
Yeah. So running with that topic, what was your first like? So was that your first camp? Did you ever go to camps before that, or was the junior day your first big recruiting
um,
milestone?
it was. I went to the junior days before I went to the camps. The junior days is more of just like a come to the facility, talk to the coaches, get a little visual, with everything. And after that, that's when they're like, okay, well, I like your personality. I want you to come work out, basically, and come go to a camp and everything. So it was the junior day first.
Gotcha. Is that normal? Like, is that you specifically that happened to, or is that like in the process? Is the junior days, do they come first or?
It's a little different. I would say, yeah, I would definitely say it's a little different. Uh, yeah, it's really different. I lied, not a little. It's really different. I had a different experience. Like I said, like probably anybody that would know Fraser knows that we're not the most known high school in the whole world. So it's kind of like I came from like, you know, the ground up. So me compared to, you could say, any of our neighboring high schools, my journey would be a lot different than anyone else's. So
Yeah. So, did you like when did you start going to camps or showcases?
uh I think I went to my first camp my junior year. So yeah, my junior year. My sophomore year was mostly visits. Junior year was when I started to go to the camps. That's also when I got the most of my size, and that's also when I started to get most of my agility came back. Surprisingly, I was able to start moving well with my size, and it definitely that once again paid really big dividend to me, was being able to move at my size, which
Yeah.
many people cannot do. So
Yeah.
going from the flag football days of being a running back to now being an offensive lineman, and as well as the three sport athletes, I can move very
Yeah.
well for a guy like that, very well. But
Yeah.
now being in the position that I am, where I can lift 330 pounds on bench, squat over 450, deadlift 500, I I'm pretty neck and neck now. I back then it was a little lopsided with the agility, but now I'm pretty close to my peak ability, and I'm loving it. So
Yeah, that's great. So, what training do you do? Like, what specific training? Like, how many days a week? Do you go to a certain place for it? Do you just do it on your own at a gym? Like, what have
yeah,
you found is most effective?
so all throughout COVID, I spent money on my own weight room in my garage. I used that for a long time. I would probably work out almost every day in the garage. I saw progress, but I knew I had to take it to the next level. and I was kind of on and off. I didn't stay really true to it. I didn't, I felt like I was making progress, and I did make progress, but I knew it wasn't what I could be doing. Um, I took it to the next step to where I had connections with ex NFL players. They are all D1 athletes. They're in the area. They run a training facility around here, and I started working out with them. Relentless Pursuit out in Troy. Shout out to my guys Doug and Justin. Everybody I know that works out with them is just they take tremendous leaps, and I put all my trust in them. And I was in a stereotype to where, like, I have to work out 7 days a week. I have to work out 6 days a week, or I'm not going to get to where I want to be. I only work out 4 days a week. 4 out of the 7 days I work out. I work out Monday, Tuesday, off day Wednesday, which is the most crucial day ever. Then I work out Tuesday or Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday are my off days. I necessarily I still have that little bug in the back of my mind where, like, I have to do something. So I usually walk a half a mile, do a mile. On
Mhm.
usually Sunday, my mom walks, my dad walks. We usually just take a walk in the neighborhood. So I around a half a mile, do a mile just to get my body loose and the blood flowing, and then it's just back to normal. So
Awesome. So for those workouts, are you doing pure weight training? Are you doing agility workouts? Are you doing speed? Like, what do you do for those workouts?
I do both. I do it all. Monday we do the dynamic bench press days. I can't even tell you the things we do. We got buffalo bars, we got like trap bar variants and chain lifts and everything. And Doug and Justin just do a phenomenal job of you know like different athletes. It's crazy. And the connections that I've built with them and the connections that I've built with, like, the other people they train, it's crazy. I work out with fellow, like, D1 to D2 athletes. I work out with NFL dudes that sign multi-million-dollar deals. That
This,
was
yeah.
the NFL dude, Tyler Conklin and Joey Osman. They were actually the turning points to get me to NMU. I was always in the rocks. I Yeah, I know we're probably gonna go there later, so I won't
Yeah.
I won't ramble on about it. But
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So is that motivating to have people like that, people of that stature in the room with you while you're working out?
it's very motivating because one of my most recent times with Tyler Conklin, for example, it was, I want to say, maybe 2 weeks before, yeah, 2 weeks, because I know the startup, the workouts. He recently flew over to New York to sign a big $1 million deal,
Mhm,
but
yeah.
he was there working out with me. We are both doing lower. I said what up to him, and we would just go to where I would watch him and he would watch me. And he would always come up to me and he goes, dude, I can't believe you're 17. Like, you're huge, you're a big guy. He goes, being in your age, and I wasn't even able to lift the bar. You know what I mean? He goes, the guy your size it's just crazy. So
Yeah.
it's very, very, very motivating. It's at points it can almost make your head too big because you don't know if they're just saying that, but it's to the point to where I the proof is in the pudding. So
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna get into your recruiting side and the college side. So for everyone that doesn't know, Anthony is signed on to Northern Michigan University. So first, we're gonna go with what factors led you to going to camps at that school and then eventually committing to that school?
so the biggest factor by far is I wanted to be away from home to an extent. I My family have always been the baby, so it was kind of a nice step for me to be, I guess you can say, farish. I like it, as well as I mean, I think of it almost as a 4-year vacation at Northern Michigan. I mean, Marquette is just beautiful. I mean, there's so many things that I'm gonna be able to do up there that I can like check off a bucket list. Like
Hmm.
you can go, not mountain climbing. I wouldn't call I guess it's mountains. They're huge. They're huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
mountains. Yeah, mountains. There's a lot of mountains we can go climbing up there. Cliff jumping. I mean, there's just so much stuff. You can go snowmobiling, skiing. There's you can swim up there. The players and all of them have boats, jet skis, and cottage houses, and it's crazy. As
Yeah.
well as it's going from family to family, and that was by far one of the biggest things in my recruiting process, as well as getting a free degree, of course, which I was
Yeah.
able to accomplish.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But I wanted to have that feeling, and that Marquette experience is just that Marquette experience was just something I couldn't beat. It's there. It's a whole big family up there. It's a
Yeah.
whole. I can't even tell you the numbers of people that are up there, but it's seriously like everybody goes around Northern Michigan. That's the thing up there. It's seriously like a huge, strong family feel, as well as what I want to major in cybersecurity. They just recently got funded by the government. They call it Academic of Excellence, I think it's called. But the big thing for me, I know I said it before, was to get that free degree, and I was thankful enough to be put in this position. But to get the academic excellence in my field is huge because we're funded by the government now.
Yeah.
I want to major in cybersecurity, and we're funded by the government, so I'm already way above the list compared to anybody else that gets my degree. So
Hmm.
it's a win-win, as well as I got a lot of my professor has a lot of connections down in Detroit too. So there was a bunch of factors. It was a bunch of factors. Everything just started to piece together. It was awesome. So
Yeah. That's awesome. So bringing it back, I'm assuming a couple of years for you. What was your first offer you ever received from a school?
my my first offer, it was a scholarship offer from Concordia St. Paul University. It was out in Minnesota. That was probably one of my oddest offers. It was different compared. It was very different compared to everybody else. Like I said, very different experience.
Yeah.
I took marketing at Fraser High School, so I kind of learned how to I learned how to
Build your
market
brand.
myself. Exactly, and that's when I started branding myself, and it started paying off.
Awesome. How would you like define an offer? Like, I know a lot of people don't know exactly what that is. Like, is it a roster spot? Is it a scholarship in some cases? Like,
So I was put in a very thankful position to where I didn't really have to deal with the roster spots. The scholarship, like the offers that I received, were all, "Hey, you have a spot in our team. We're gonna pay you money to go play football for us, and you're gonna be able to get free food, free clothes, blah, and so on." You go to lower divisions. I got players on my team that they signed to Heidelberg Alma College. They all received roster spots to go play on the football teams, and they received no money, no help. It's just all academics. So what I received is, as well as my academic money, I get a lot of money for football, as well as grants that I received and everything else, and it's going to be a surreal experience. So
yeah, it's awesome. What Out of everything, you've named a ton of stuff that's great about Northern Michigan. Out of everything, if you had to pick one thing, what are you most excited for?
I'm excited to beat Michigan Tech's butt and bring back that Miners Cup that has not been in Northern Michigan's hands for over 12 years or 11. I think 11
Really?
years. Yeah, Michigan Tech and Northern Michigan have a big rivalry, it's dating back years. I mean, years. The game is streamed. They have like a big ESPN network up there, Marquette, everything, big news, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's streamed. It's covered throughout Michigan. It's a huge game, and Northern Michigan's just fall short every year. And I was talking to my roommate, Riley Smalls over at Dakota, and we're gonna celebrate pretty hard when my class brings it back this year. We're dying. We already said we're gonna take a nice little picture with that for our Twitters and Instagrams, and we're gonna live it. We're that's not leaving us no more.
Yes, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah. So is there any specific advice you have for high school athletes just in general, just to get better at their craft, just for the high school level?
The best advice I would give anybody is don't give up no matter the circumstances. I could almost say that I was at the short end of the stick the most of my experience. You can do whatever you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Fraser High School is not the biggest high school. It's not the most known high school. I didn't have somebody, just handing me these things. I had to earn everything that I have in front of me. I had to market myself. I had to play good. I had to work my body. I had to do it all. But the biggest advice is just never give up. Never put yourself down. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to, no matter what. So
That's good. Thank you. And then, do you have any advice specifically for players that do want to play in the next level, just in terms of like marketing yourself or in the recruiting process? Like, what's some advice you'd give?
so biggest advice, obviously, you got to learn how to brand yourself. Being in like this district and these smaller schools, you're not gonna just play. I know all the old timers say, like, if you play good, they'll find you. I mean, they'll find you, don't get me wrong, but you have to put yourself in front of them for you to find them. Not gonna. I guess they can say they'll go searching, but you got to put yourself in front of them. That's the honest truth. And I've tried to help a lot of the guys that are a year under us and class of 23 and class of 24 and stuff like that. And they've asked me questions too, and I tell them the same thing. You just got to market yourself, hit the irons, and you just got to put your head down and work. I had a couple guys tell me, like, thank you. And I even had Coach Sklad tell me too, like, I guess you can say I put Fraser back out there, truthfully. I
Yeah.
really did. I put them back out there to know, hey, Fraser's still here. There's talent in Fraser. It's there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's a good feeling. So
Yeah. So, for this last segment, we're gonna look over your high school career. So, what was your favorite memory from a game? What was just that one memory that every time you think of, your smile just explodes?
last regular season game of my senior year this year, against Royal Oak.
Royal
Um,
Oak.
they had this big kid. Looking forward to playing him. Um, his name is Jesse. Built just like me, same size, everything. Last year, my junior year, I swear I almost had over 100 yards in personal penalties just because I was getting targeted. My family got ejected out of the game. I can't make this up. They got ejected. Everybody was going crazy. They ended up winning the game, but it built over to my senior year, and every year, probably since I was a sophomore in varsity, every year I'd always be like, "Glad, give me the ball, man. Just let me catch a ball. Let me do something." And we played Pool Hero Northern my sophomore year, and I got a little taste of it. I played tight end on scout. I was like, I'm big for my size. I can move. I want to catch the ball. So my senior year, last game of the regular season, I was like, Coach Sklad, look at this play. And it was, I want to say, 4 days before the game. He goes, all right, let me see. Show him the play. He goes, oh, okay. I like it. I like it. Well, the first day of practice, he goes, all right, Merlot special, Merlot special. Calls Merlot special. We run the play. It works. It's perfect. We practice
Oh,
all
yeah.
week. And he's like, you know what? Okay, I might call it, whatever. I might do it. I think we get to an early lead. And I'm thinking, okay, hopefully he'll call it. I wasn't like bothering him about it during the game. I mean, this is a little upsetting, but he calls it on like the 45-ish yard line. I get the ball. I'm running down the sideline. I'm running, and I get tackled at the 2. And
Just right out of gas, right out of gas.
I ran out of gas. It's my mom always says, it took 3 people to bring you down. Yeah, I got my family's got pictures of me getting horse collared and grabbed from behind by 3 dudes trying to get me out of the end zone, but
took their whole team.
And then they ran the ball down. They ran the ball down their throat with Jacob Dubé. So the other senior got the touchdown, but I'm telling you, I still look back at my camera roll and watch that video over and over and over. And I just smile head to toe, just listen to everybody scream. So it's something I definitely wish I can go back and relive. So
yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it what Eddie came back on a reverse and handed it off to you, something like that?
It was a little curl route, so we did like a 5-yard curl, ran 5 yards, turned around, so he caught the ball. And we have this jailbreak screen to where I pull out as a left tackle and go all the way around and block, usually in front. But this time I went all the way around and he pitched me the ball when I was running. So I had momentum. So they were getting ready to block Eddie on the 5-yard curl and I was just gone. And then, I started cramping, I just didn't run. I didn't have enough gas. I fell short of the goal line. So,
yeah. Hey, it was a great play. And you got us some well-needed, well-gained yardage. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So, who in your time on the varsity level, who was the most difficult opponent you've personally faced? Not as like a team, just like one-on-one edge rusher.
Are you talking about on like our Fraser team or like
just in anywhere, like Port Huron or?
I was very thankful. I definitely think helped, my recruiting too. My sophomore and junior year, I played many like ranked guys just like myself for football, like big name recruits. The biggest one was 5-star defensive end out of Port Huron Northern, Braden. He was committed to Michigan. He was behind Aiden Hutchinson, as many of us Detroit fans know. He was the guy right behind him this year. So I can proudly say that I went up against that guy. The back. His name's Braden McGregor. I have a newspaper clipping on my fridge, and I used it as motivation for a lot of my games. It was basically a game where I went head on head with him. It was probably the first ever time in my life I felt a little scared for a football game.
Yeah.
But I lost a couple reps. He threw me like a doll a couple times. Only that happened in my life. A couple times, and he, I got interviewed by a newspaper, and they basically said I got manhandled. How did it feel, going up against this big name recruit? I was like, it was a pretty surreal experience. He has a lot of years in the weight room and blah, blah, blah. And it's just use it as motivation. But, that was definitely the biggest opponent. I've also went up against a 3-star Tyson Watson, committed to Michigan State. We got a 2-star Isaiah Lakeview, as well as like a 2-star D tackle, Saginaw.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big name recruits, as well as now my senior year campaign, another Port Huron defensive end. And we have a 4-star defensive end that I went up against and I held my own. So like I said, I can do a lot of things.
Yeah, you can stand your ground. Yeah. So who was the most talented? Like, I know you probably don't want to pick one, you don't have to. But at your time at Fraser, who was your most talented teammate? Just, you don't have to pick one. Like, I know a lot from this year, but if you have
I'm gonna go back to my sophomore year. Jr. was one quick little man. Let me tell you, he was short. I that man made me one of the as well as all the other players I faced, but I went up against Jr. every drill basically, and he wouldn't take it snap off. I mean, he would bull rush every time. And I mean, that really made me learn, like, I got to put my head down. I got to get my ass to work,
mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. What like coach or coaches have had the biggest impact on your life and on your career?
definitely Coach McSwain, our offensive line coach, as well as Coach Iwaniki, TI, as well as, and Coach Volpe. Coach McSwain, young guy, one of our new offensive line coach guys. He JV freshman coach, varsity O-line coach, helped us out. My sophomore junior year, I knew that was when I was taking football kind of serious. I was like, Coach McSwain, I need to go get my feet. I need to get my footwork right. I need to start mastering my craft. And he sat with me almost an hour after every single lift after practice, and we'd work on footwork, work on pass sets, and that led me to be where I am now, but definitely Coach McSwain, as well as Coach TI. I mean, he played over in the Ivy League, Penn. He played over at Penn. He's got many years of experience, and I loved his wisdom and his his stories. And then Volpe,
mm-hmm.
Gotta love Volpe. He's the big guy. He once again he would always nitpick me on the little things that I would take as a joke. Like, I could take one step this way and he'd be like, "Come on, Merlot, get it right. Hands here, hands there, one step here." And he would nitpick it. And
yeah,
it would help. So they all played huge factors with me. So
awesome. Yeah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And
no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck with your career, and I know you're going to do great. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
No problem. See you.
See you.
I'd like to thank Anthony for coming on to today's show. He took time out of his busy schedule to come on and share stories and great information, and that is greatly appreciated. Make sure to show him some love, and I will have his Instagram and Twitter linked in the bio. I also want to thank you for listening in, and I'd appreciate if you gave me a follow. Until next time, my name is Calvin Custins, and this is The Blueprint.